Hey friends, welcome back to the Functional Nutrition series. Today we're going to be discussing gut health and my favorite things or foods to introduce into my diet to really help cleanse and heal my digestive system. So if you haven't watched any of my other videos, this is something that I like to talk about a lot. When I studied functional nutrition, digestion was the footstool of healing all other diseases within the body. So before we can heal anything else, we have to make sure our digestive system is strong and healthy. And so it's something that I've also struggled with as a kid. I can remember having digestive issues as a very young kid, as young as like 6 years old. And of course, I did not eat a healthy diet as a kid. That was before, all the organic things came about. I was a child of the 80s and 90s. So healing my gut has been quite the experience. And so over the years, I've been able to help many clients. I feel like whatever you yourself are struggling with, you attract those clients into your life. And so it's been awesome and amazing to see my clients heal some very serious gut health issues and get off of medications, because it's totally possible. So now I want to share with you some of my favorite healing foods to use. So first up would be probiotic-rich foods. So you would want to eat things like sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, miso, kombucha. With kombucha, I would recommend finding something that is either homemade, make your own, or that's sweetened with fruit juice instead of sugar. And just to be careful with how much kombucha that you are consuming in a day, because it can be one of those things that can throw our gut imbalance off if we're consuming too much of it, especially if you are someone that struggles with candida. But it's still a good one to add. And then also fermented cod liver oil. So making sure that we're adding in a lot of healthy probiotics into our diet, because unfortunately in America, we do not consume probiotics as part of our regular diet. In America, we don't really have a way of eating. The standard American diet is very much heavily processed. And it's not healthy. And I think that's why we're so obsessed with diet fads. I don't want to get started on that. That drives me nuts. But so our bodies do not create these healthy bacteria in our gut. And so we need to be adding them in on a regular basis. And the best way to do that is through fermented foods. You can also make your own fermented foods. You could make fermented vegetables, fermented sweet potatoes. You can make your own sauerkraut. Kimchi really is not that difficult to make. Actually, right now I'm making my own yogurt, so we're gonna see how that goes. It's been a while since I've done that, but I'm super excited to have my own yogurt, because yogurt is one of those things at the store that is so tricky. And it is often so processed and full of sugar that it kind of outweighs the benefits. So I don't typically buy it. I usually go with something like kefir, the unsweetened kind, and then just add in my own local raw honey with some fruit. So I'll keep you posted on how my yogurt turns out, but I'm excited about that. Also, other foods that we want to add into our diet would be nourishing soups and stews, anything that is really easy for our body to digest. So I know a lot of people think that consuming like all plants is really going to help your body like heal and digest and juicing and doing all these things, but it's actually going to do more damage than good. So hear me out on this. I've tried every single diet out there since my 20s, and I always come back to a nourishing diet, which for me would be more of a Weston A. Price type of diet because it's just so nutrient dense. I've been vegan and plant-based in the past. You cannot thrive long-term on it. That's what I believe. And I feel like if you're going to be eating cold, uncooked food and juices, it's just going to create huge imbalances in your body. Now that I am going to school for traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, I'm getting a little bit deeper view on the organs in the body, yin and yang, the 5 elements, how our body breaks down and utilizes food, and the importance of organs like our spleen, which is not something that we talk about or even acknowledge in the Western world. This is not something a doctor is going to talk to us about. And so it's very eye-opening to learn what our spleen does, what a spleen qi deficiency is, and why like 99% of Americans have spleen qi deficiency. And when we are eating foods that are cold and raw, like beans and salads and nuts that aren't cooked, it's making our body work very, very hard. Our spleen doesn't like things that are cold and wet and moist. It likes things that are more dry. So eating foods that are pre-digested, like a soup or a stew that's been on the crock pot all day, and then, you know, maybe some sourdough on the side, is going to be way more nourishing for our body than eating a raw food diet. And I think that's partly why I had so much digestive issues, and alternated, you know, I had IBS, leaky gut, like everything. I'm still working through some nutritional deficiencies, and I'm filling in those gaps with some fermented cod liver oil. So I don't feel like we're ever completely 100% healed. I think life's a journey. It's all about learning, and we go through different seasons. I'm also 9 months pregnant, and so baby's taking a lot of my nutrients. This is my second baby, and second babies take a lot more from you. And so this is another good time for me to eat very, very nutrient dense and make sure that not just my baby's getting what he needs, but like what I need as well. Okay, so I think I got kind of off on a tangent there, but basically we want to drink things like bone broths, cook with bone broths. It's so easy to make your own bone broths. I have them on recipes on my website, stephanielchan.com. Soups and stews, meats that have been cooked for a long time, and also consuming grass-fed meat. Like beef is going to be a really good meat to eat. Chicken, not so much. I feel like grass-fed beef is gonna be a lot more nutrient dense. Things like wild-caught salmon, even in the cans. You can pick up a stack of them at Costco. Sardines, smoked oysters, wild-caught tuna. A lot of those things are going to be packed full of healthy omegas, rich in vitamins A and D, which is what we're severely lacking in. And so these kinds of foods are going to be really nourishing and healing for our body. The omegas are going to help lower all of that inflammation in our gut lining. Bone broth is going to help soothe your digestive tract, because when we're eating a processed diet that's full of fat and sugar, processed foods, fast foods, Those kinds of things are just ripping up the lining of our gut. If you're going out and eating just regular store-bought bread, it's destroying the lining of your gut so that everything is just leaking through, and that's why you're not able to absorb any nutrients from your food. So these kinds of foods are going to calm down your digestive system and create a lot better environment for healing. Some teas that would be good is peppermint tea is really soothing. Marshmallow tea, marshmallow root, you can get, I think, from Buddha Teas. Also, slippery elm is really, really healing, anti-inflammatory for your digestive system. Lemon water is always great to heal. Your liver's gonna love you for drinking lemon water. First thing in the morning kind of cleanses you out. And also ginger. Do not underestimate the power of ginger. And you don't need a lot. It's also really, really good for those of us that have spleen qi deficiency. And helps kind of warm up our body and also help to help with like inflammation in our gut and kind of dry it out a little bit. So the first thing I would recommend doing is removing anything that's offensive in your body. Processed sugars, fats, unhealthy fats, seed oils. Just removing all the junk from your diet. And just because, you know, you might have a meal that's not as healthy doesn't mean that you have to throw in the towel and give up. You always have another opportunity at your next meal. So you don't feel like you have to be all in. It is a process. So removing offensive foods. Number 2 would be starting to add in healthy foods, healthier meals. And if it feels overwhelming to do all 3 meals, then just pick one meal. Maybe you want to make dinner really nourishing, or maybe it's breakfast. Just creating like a meal plan for yourself, an outline of what would be healthy for you. And number 3, I'm not going to go much into this, but finding a way to help manage your stress, because your gut-brain axis has a lot to do with your overall digestive system. I'll create a separate video on that, but that is the basics, the 3 things that I would do. I also just created a free guide. It's like a 5-page, really simple, to the point ebook on how I healed my gut, and then what I recommend if you were my client, if I was sitting down with you. Obviously, it would be a little more detailed in going over your health history, but these are the things that I recommend, and so ways that you can start taking action immediately. I'll post that link below. And then also, I am almost finished with my gut health course. It's very comprehensive. I'm going to have recipes. So I've been busy compiling those, some of my favorite gut healing recipes, just to give you guys some guidance. And so that will be coming out soon. And I'll be posting that link below as well. So anyway, I think it's time to wrap it up, but that is basically the food that I recommend for healing your gut. I wish you all the best in your health journeys, and I will see you next time.